So let's take a look at why iPad in education from a classroom point of view. And here's where we probably already know the benefits of using an iPad in the classroom from a learner point of view. But let's take a look at this from a teacher point of view and how actually having the same device as your students can lead to an awfully more developed way of working with them. But also, if your students don't have devices at all, how the iPad still lends itself as a really powerful tool in the classroom. So let's get going with just some of the basics. So on my device, I can drag down from the top right corner up by the power bar. And if I drag down, I expose this control center. And within the control center, I have various options which can really help me from a teaching point of view. One is screen mirroring. If I tap on screen mirroring, if there is an Apple TV or a mirroring device available in my teaching space, I can simply mirror my screen to that. Now that's great because it means that I can then be mobile around the classroom and not be fixed to the front of the class at all times, which obviously can change how you deliver learning in the classroom. Another option within this is the ability to be able to airdrop things to students. Now the airdrop feature is this kind of umbrella, rainbow kind of looking icon. And within here, you can see that I can turn my airdrop on, I can turn it so it's contacts only, or I can turn it off. And the same applies for your students. But it also then means that if I go into an application and wanted to share something with them, for example, this document that I've created, if I tap on share, their devices would show up under the airdrop options and I would be able to share it directly with them. Now in this case, I've got these set up within Apple Classroom, which means I can share it to the whole class or individual students within the class. So that's a really, really simple way of being able to share documentation, cutting down on photocopying, cutting down on teacher prep time, because the stuff is designed on my device and shared from my device to my students. Now talking about Apple Classroom, let's jump into Apple Classroom. This, again, a great way for you to be able to support your students from a distance in COVID times. Obviously, not being able to get too close to our students, Classroom's a great way that we can able to see their screens, and you can check out some of the other videos that I've done on how this works. Something else that's really great with this is if you are using Keynote at the same time and wanting to present, if I go to split screen and bring up my presentation here, actually, when I go to present, if I was screen mirroring my device, the students would see this side on the right with the presentation, but they wouldn't see this side over on the left, which means I can present from my device and actually hide what I'm doing on my device here. That allows me to be able to control the students' devices by opening them in apps, locking them if I need to, or sharing websites to them, but also be able to see their screens if there's something I need to intervene with. So split screen mirroring, and in live play mode in Keynote, being able to hide some of those things that you're doing on your device as well. Keynote is a great tool. There are great videos on how to put together great presentations. So from a teacher point of view, being able to prep my sessions on my device and present from my device in the classroom obviously really speeds things up. So let's take a look at some of the other things that the iPad really supports in my classroom. The camera is an absolutely awesome tool, and in this simple as marking up a piece of student work. Let's imagine that this is a piece of student work that someone has done. I could simply take a photo of their work, go to the image, and if I go into edit and tap on these three dots at the top, you'll see I have markup as an option. Now using the pen tools over on the left hand side, I can simply go into marking mode and I can start to offer corrections for the students and just give them some feedback. Tap done. And then if I just simply share that to those students, again, using that airdrop function, that student can have that bit of information back in an instant within the class. So again, speeding up that ability for me to offer feedback and assessment for learning for the students in a very, very quick and timely manner. So other things that we can do then within our setup is, we mentioned this before, that setup beforehand. I have access to files on my device and I can access any of these documents, be them on my cloud, be them in Google Drive or OneDrive, all sorts of documents. And again, if I wanted to share any of these documents to my students because I needed to push them a little bit further with some information, I can open those. I can go to that airdrop function and I'll be able to share it with my students in a very simple and timely manner. So there we go, just some really, really quick and simple ways that you'll be able to share work with your students in the classroom, mirror your screen, which obviously gives you the opportunity to be more mobile as you teach around the classroom. Using Google Classroom, if being mobile isn't an option, then you can still do those things from a distance, because you have that opportunity to share apps, open websites for the students and see their screens to give them feedback. Markup, which allows me to document things that they've done. And if you couple that with Classroom and take photos of their screens, you can make notes on their screens and then send that image back to them. And then finally, just the camera and its very ability to be able to document things in the classroom, even down to the fact that if I open up the camera, I can start to just use it as a visualizer and document that learning that's taken place in the classroom, sharing of those resources. So there we go, some really, really simple uses for how you can get the most out of using the iPad in the classroom. And there are plenty of other videos on the channel to check out on how you can do lots more creative things in the classroom. But hopefully we've shown the value of why an iPad in the classroom, with or without students having access to devices, is a real great way for teachers to increase their productivity and cut down on their workload.